Man, what an afternoon it's been. But my wife's been after me for some time now to do some more cooking in the Dutch oven. It's something I really enjoy, and the last year, maybe two, we've had a lot going on. Been kind of busy, and just haven't done a lot of Dutch oven cooking. But so today, I decided well, a couple days ago, I decided I was going to make a Dutch oven lasagna for today, and I wanted to share that with you. It's an awesome camp meal. The folks out at Royal Tine, when I went out there a couple years ago, they shared this particular recipe with me, and we made it once there, and it got gobbled up. I don't think there was any leftovers out of that one, and the many times I've shared it with my family or my co-workers, it's always went over very well. So I'm going to do that this afternoon, and I was going to share this with you. Like I said, it's an awesome main camp meal. I usually make an herb bread, yeast bread to go along with it, secondary in another Dutch oven. I'm not going to have time to do that today, and I'll try to revisit that again some other video. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and get started with this making everything for the lasagna. So I've got some coals started in the chimney here, and I'm going to tilt the camera over to it. Got some coals started in the chimney, and once they get ready, I'm going to go ahead and start heating up my oven and get back with you. So give me a couple minutes for the coals to get hot, and then we'll get started doing this. All right. Okay, my coals should be just about ready, and yep, they look like they are. So here's what I've got. I've got 15 briquettes in here. I'm using a number 10 iron. I'm just going to pour these out and put them in a little bit of a circle. I'm not going to put any on top for right now. I'm really just trying to heat up the bottom good enough to fry up some meat. So there's no real formula for this part of it that I'm aware of. I just want to get it good and hot for meat frying. So there's that. And I'm going to lay this down on top of it and let that heat up a few minutes. And we'll put the meat in and start frying it up. Okay. It's been probably 5, 6, 7 minutes, I guess. Got a little bit of oil in the bottom of the pan here. It's not going to need a lot because all the fats are in the meat and stuff too. But I'm going to go ahead and start putting my meats in there. What I've got is I've got about 1.25 pounds of ground beef and about 1 pound of sweet Italian sausage. Go ahead and start getting this fried up. This is just the first leg of it. It's kind of the sauce for the lasagna, so get it done first. It's got to simmer about half an hour or so. a hot day out here today. It's probably about 95. That's kind of a good meal to do outside too, because you don't need them heating up the kitchen any more than, for the house any more than what it already is. Mix this all together here. Let it do its thing. Alright. Just going to let that fry up for a few minutes, and I'll get back to you as it's all done. Alright, let's see what we got going on here. I've got some more coals started because I'm going to put them on the lid and let the sauce simmer. So, oh yeah, look at that. Okay. Yeah, that meat's browned up really good. And got a lot of grease in it. So break this down just a little bit. Alright. And there's not going to be any real easy way of draining this grease off, so I'll show you what I got set up over here. About the best it's going to work for me. I've got just a stainless steel bowl and a colander, and I'm going to pour all those contents into there and just let it drain for a few minutes. Maybe I can get lucky and do this without dumping the meat. That's okay. My intention was to dump it all in there, but meat's holding its own pretty good, so. Alright. I'm going to put that back. And I've got one 15-ounce can of Italian tomatoes. One 15-ounce can of tomato sauce. Which is what the recipe called for. And I myself like tomatoes, so I'm going to add another 15-ounce can of Italian stewed tomatoes. I'm going to drain some of the juice off though. Okay. There we go. And I've got an onion and probably about 4 cloves of garlic. all this together. And that's going to be our meat sauce for the lasagna. Oh, forgot. A little bit of fennel seed. And just add a little bit of that in there. Help give it some Italian flavoring. There it is. Okay, now when those coals get done, I'm going to put them on top of the lid and just let that simmer for about half an hour. And get back with you. And just a quick little interesting note, see if I can do this well. All that is the fat drained off from the meat. So it was a good thing that we drained that off, huh? I decided it was interesting when I poured it out of the bowl how much it actually was, so thought I'd share that. And I'll get back with you when the sauce is done and we start putting the rest of the lasagna together. Alright, let's see how things are turning out here. It's been probably 35 minutes. You can hear it sizzling away. Let's take a peek. Oh yeah. Look at that. I know it looks a little on the runny side, and part of that's by design. The way this cooks, you put the noodles in, for lasagna noodles, you don't cook them in advance. You just put them in hard noodles right out of the box. So as it cooks, it'll absorb some of this liquid, and you won't even, well, you'll be amazed really. It's a beautiful dish. So I'm going to take this off the coals now and let this set up a little bit. I don't need it to be that hot when we put it in with the rest of the meal. So I'm going to set that over there. I'm not going to need these coals. Actually, I won't even be using this oven. Using a different one, but and I'm going to dispose of all this over there in the old fire ring, and I'm going to let that sit up probably half an hour or better, and then I'll get back with you when we put this together. Okay, it's been sitting probably half an hour or better. What I've got here is really just 2 eggs scrambled up with some parsley in there, and I did that while I was back and forth in the house, but that's all it is. It's just 2 eggs, and so now I'm going to add some cottage cheese. Oh, there was a little bit of black pepper in there also. And it doesn't call for it, but I like to add just a little bit of basil, not a lot. For one, my wife's not a basil person, so I gotta be real careful with it. And I like to also add just a little bit more fennel seed. And this one's going to be a little hard to measure out, but, well, maybe not. About half a cup of Parmesan, and this is 6 ounces, so I'm just going to go ahead and put all of it in there. It's just cheese. Alright, so we'll mix all this together. Alright, get all that mixed together. Set it out the way for a minute. And lasagna noodles. Kind of running out of room here. And the big oven. This is a 12 deep. And what I am going to do is put a very small amount of the sauce in the bottom. Of the pan here. Just to barely cover it. What it does is it gives a little bit of a layer on the bottom and helps keep the any of the noodles from sticking to the bottom of the oven. You don't get the you don't really get the good slices of lasagna like you may have doing it in the house, but this little bottom layer here is it just works out a lot better in the Dutch ovens. Okay. Yeah, maybe get a little bit right in there. There we go. Oh, you ought to smell this. Alright. I think that'll be alright for that. Set that right there for a moment. And it calls for a whole pound of lasagna noodles, and I have yet to figure out how to get the whole pound in there, but well, I always wind up with about 3/4 of a box. So there it is. Just lay that right there. like that. Now you got to start figuring it out. So we'll break that. Lay that there. Kind of fill in that little gap. And I'm going to set that there for a minute. And do the same thing over here. Fill in that little gap. And put half of one there and a half of one there. And just kind of fill in these little gaps here. Okay. Excuse me for a second. And let's just to kind of get the corners here. Alright, that'll work. So now we're going to put about half of this in there. Oh man, I knew that was going to happen. And where'd our mixture go? About half of our cheese mixture. Probably a little bit more than half, but kind of hard to spread it all out. All right. And more cheese. All right. A little mozzarella. Try not to put as much in the middle layer. I'm saving most of it for the top layer. And then the noodles. I kind of alternate the direction. It just, I don't think there's a real purpose for it, but it's just the way I've done it. See, still a little bit left over, but you know, that little rock's hard on my knee. Alright. And I'll just dump the rest of this in there. See, doesn't that look good? Just cover up this little corner over here. Yeah. I think that's about as much as I'm going to get out of there. It doesn't seem to want to cover, and I keep trying to do this in a 10-inch Dutch oven, and then it gets too tall, and so spread that a little bit there. I probably should have made a little bit of an extra batch, but all right. And the rest of the mozzarella. Man, it's hot out here. Okay, and perfect timing. Coals are really just about done. So, I went 375 degrees, and like I mentioned last time, this one's a 12-inch Dutch oven. So for 350, if you keep the number 3 with you, it's just the base rule. So you take your Dutch oven, it's like I said, number 12. You want 9 coals on the bottom. You just subtract 3 from the size of the oven, and then you add those 3 that you subtracted to there onto the top plus the dimension of the oven. So that'd be 3 plus the 12, 15, and then we want it to be 375, so we're going to add 2 more coals, so it should be 9 on the bottom and 17 on top. Seven, 8, and 9. And if you just do it on the outside rim, the heat will transfer, and the heat will run across the bottom, and it'll also run up the side, so don't have nothing to worry about as far as putting any in the middle. You'll burn them if you put them in the middle. Alright. Evenly all around, one on each side of the lid handle. There you go. And I'll let that go about 40 minutes, and I'm going to start probably another 10 coals or so, and maybe not quite that many. Anyhow, just a few coals to assist in the last little bit of cooking on the top, kind of like a broiler effect. The last little bit, I want to put a lot of heat on top of it to crispen up the cheese just a little bit. But I'm going to let this go about 40 minutes. I have a few more coals for the last 10 or 15 minutes after that. So every 15 minutes, what I'll do also is I'll rotate the lid one direction and then the pot another direction. That way I get even heat throughout the cooking process. And that's really about it. So I'll check back with you here in about 40 minutes, and we'll see how this is coming along. Thank you. Okay, almost done. Let's take a peek at it. You can start to smell it, and that's usually an indication that things are getting done when you can smell it. Oh, look at there. Yeah, so okay, so give that a little bit of a turn. And see, these coals are almost burned themselves up. Not much left of them. And then turn these this way. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put these, I got, I think 7, and just arrange them right out here in their own little mini circle around the edge here. Kind of like yay. And let that cook another 10-15 minutes. I just want to brown the cheese up just a little bit. check back on it here in a couple more minutes and then start eating, I think. Okay, so it's been, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes, if that long. I did take all the coals off the bottom and transfer them to the top just to get one last little bit of heat on top of the top, and tried blowing some of the ashes off because that acts as an insulator. But anyhow, so let's check on it. Oh, that looks good, doesn't it? So I'm gonna let this sit for about 10 minutes, and then my wife wants me to make another one of them little fry breads that I showed you this morning. But I'm gonna let that sit up and start our dinner. So until next time, we'll see you in the woods. Thanks for watching.